You're on.
Okay. Christians are about love. Now I know I talk a lot of mean stuff on here, but people have to defend themselves. People have to defend themselves. You can't let a person be someone who, honey, go get your bottle of water over there. It's getting ready to fall off. That fan is going to blow it off. Our bottle of water is like this on the edge. Anyway, sorry about that. Well, not really. I'm probably going to work that into the message. Some people do that. They teeter on the edge of Christianity, on the edge of protecting themselves. They really don't know where. They're back and forth, just like that bottle was doing just now. They don't know where they are. They don't know what they're doing. They don't understand. They're tossed with it. You know, the fan was on, causing that bottle to do this number on the edge of that table, and that's the way people are. When you're tossed with every wind of doctrine, let me show you what the Bible says about that. Okay. Let's let the Lord talk to us today. Not tase, toss. Okay, Bible Hub. And toss has two S's, not one. Okay, that's what the Bible says, okay? Ephesians, apparently it's Ephesians 4:14. And I want King James Version. That we henceforth, or from here now on, be no longer children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men, and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. You know what? The United States is filled with Christians that are still babies. And this is the Lord's message today. Because, see, we don't know what kind of people to put in offices over us, because we don't know what that is. You know, as far as Christ is concerned, we have no idea. A lot of us, you know, I know, a lot of you still know, but we have no idea. I keep saying we. A lot of people across the U.S., and this is why we have such turmoil. This is why Obama stood before the world and declared we are no longer a Christian country. Because he's such a moron. He don't know what a Christian is. He don't know the basics of a Christian, of what Christianity is supposed to be. The very thought of saying such a statement got God's attention, especially the leader of our country. Let me tell you something. God himself did not like that. I'm telling you, you know what? God started a plan the day he said that. And God's plan was to bring such a man as Trump, to bring this nation back to the place again where they will understand and know that we are not to be tossed. We need to get out of the infant stage and become something greater than an unwise follower, blind leaders of the blind. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. We need to do more, just like it says here. And look the way the NIV says this. May shed a little more light. This paraphrase of the Bible may shed a little more light on the subject. It says, then we will no longer be infants. You know, an infant. An infant is a little baby, can't walk, it can't talk. It smells stuff, but it don't know what it's smelling. It sees things, but it don't know what it's seeing. Sometimes it can't even focus on what it is seeing. It cannot communicate. An infant cannot communicate. It don't know how to communicate. It hears you saying words, and it likes the tone, but that's the only thing an infant recognizes. An infant recognizes tones. An infant recognizes soft touches. An infant recognizes the basic needs of life. The infant recognizes a poopy diaper. An infant recognizes when it's hungry. The basic things like that. You know what? And that's the way most of the people who have no idea who to vote for today, that's all they recognize. They can't understand anything about God. They wouldn't know if an angel came down and stood before them and spoke to them. They would have no idea who it was talking. They wouldn't know what he was talking about. They wouldn't know what direction it was being pointed in. They couldn't focus on any kind of a message. They don't know anything. They're infants. They are infants before the Lord. And listen what it says. Tossed back and forth by the waves, and blown here and there by every wind of teaching. That's the liberal media. That's the liberal media to the teeth. One day they're saying this, next day they're saying the opposite. That's the wave. It just tosses you and throws you around like this. One day Hillary's up, one day Hillary's down, and one day Hillary's a killer, next day Hillary's a queen. You know, and that's the way, because they don't know. They just don't know, understand. And it's the cunning. Listen what it says. Okay, this is exactly every wind of teaching, and by the cunning and craftiness of men in their deceitful scheming. And I want to say that word there means men and women in their deceitful scheming. Let me tell you something. Sometimes women are worse than men in this thing. I mean, they plan in depthness to be devious. I mean, they know how to do it. They've been 6,000 years. They've been practicing on their husbands, and now that they got freedom, you know, hey, blam. That's a dangerous territory, isn't it? but I love my wife dearly. She's sitting over here giving me the eye like this. You better watch out. And that's a good thing.
But I'll listen to the video.
Uh-oh. Craftiness of women. I was talking about craftiness of women.
What about craftiness?
And there is bad. I said craftiness in men too. And you only need to turn on your TV and watch the news. You only need to turn on your TV and watch the news. They are both, you know, when you're unfounded in Jesus, you're both like that. Now I want to talk a little bit about something else today too, a prophecy. An Isaiah 17 prophecy. We saw in the news lately where Israel has been bombing Gaza. Now, the Gaza Strip is prophesied to be totally destroyed in the last days. Not only the Gaza Strip, but also the West Bank. There's going to be a gathering in the West Bank of people, from what I understand about the Bible and what it says about prophecy. Now, this is just not in Isaiah 17, but it is a part of Isaiah 17. It's a part of what's coming for that, and it's expressed in several books of the Bible, including Ezekiel 38 and 39. In the book of Amos and some of the other books in the Old Testament. And this is what it talks about. It talks about they shall gather up and come at Israel, excuse me, I'm thinking in the West Bank, because that's right there on the east side of Israel. Because the prophecy is that the east side of Jerusalem will be overtaken for a while, and then and I'm thinking it's probably the Palestinian people in the West Bank that's going to do that, because they come in and they totally subdue the east part of Jerusalem, which Israel owns right now. They are in control of everything except for the Temple Mount itself. So what's going to happen is, and this is what I'm seeing, okay, bombarding Gaza, and this thing could go back and forth for a while, and because of the Palestinians in Gaza, the Palestinians in the West Bank. The Palestinians here are going to attack Israel and try to take Jerusalem, the whole thing. And when that happens, Israel is going to knock out all of Gaza, all of the West Bank. But it's going to be it's going to be open war when it happens. Now this is my speculation. God has not told me this is exactly how it's coming, but this is what I am speculating. Anybody else is probably that's been watching this can see the very same thing. It's leading up to Isaiah 17, okay? And when this happens, Israel will attack back, and it'll wipe those out. Now, when they attack, it's going to be something fierce. Whatever they're going to do, whatever the West Bank is going to do, it's going to cause Israel to be extremely upset. And Israel is going to strike back, and they're going to strike back hard. They're probably going to launch missiles at Israel from inside the West Bank area. And that's probably what's going to happen, because the Lord has told me this. He said, when you see missiles coming from all different directions, that's when everything breaks loose. That's when the prophecy is going to take place. When you see missiles coming from every direction at Israel, that's when the prophecy is going to take place. Okay, so that's probably what's going to happen there. So this, what I'm saying now, and I could go on and on about this and tell you more and more of it. And for those of you who want to know, just ask me. We can talk about it. And what I'm saying is, this looks very much like this could be the start of. This is the time. We are definitely in the time of the last days. We are definitely in this part of the year. This is the part of the year that the Bible says that it would take place. It even says the time of the year that it will happen. It's toward the end of the year, before the grape actually begins to fade while the grape is still actually green in Israel on the vine, while some of them are still green. That's the time that it will begin, and that is now. That time is now. And this, what I'm saying, this looks like this could be the startup of Isaiah 17. All right, God bless you. Thank you for joining. We'll see you again later. Another great message. I've got 97 more videos to put on, then I'm going to slack off on this for a while. I have 1,000 videos. All right, God bless.